everyone, welcome back to the channel. As some of you may know, this is the start of my second season in France. So I thought the idea of today's video would be a quick guide and some tips on what I learned on surviving my first year living in a different foreign country being a cyclist. I hope you guys enjoy. Up with 8 ideas that I think are crucial in how I survived last year and what I'm going to use again this year. Just for a background for some people that don't know, I'm currently 19 years old. So last year I was 18 when I had this new step in my life, and living on my own being one part of it, and also racing my bike. So yeah, here's what they are. Number one, I'd say, is one of the most important things I've learned and that I've, since being back here, tried getting into as quick as possible, is getting into a routine. When I'm here in France, it's very easy. The only thing I'm doing is riding my bike, so it's very easy to lose track of time and waste a lot of time. So what I try and do is have structure to my day in terms of getting up at a similar time every morning, going to bed at a similar time, riding my bike at a similar time, and eating my meals at a similar time, just so everything's a bit more structured and I have a bit more going on. Where when I first came over last year, I was riding my bike, I was training well, but because I didn't have that structure in my everyday, I was wasting a lot of time and not being very productive. My second point, again, this is more for being in a foreign country, is learning the lingo. Before coming to France, I knew very little French, and it's something that, well, I've worked on a lot and I wish to continue to work on, but it wasn't really until, again, last year, a few weeks in, that I realised how much of a problem this would be. This is being around my team and races, but also, again, day-to-day life over here. Wherever you go, whatever country, it's really crucial to have that lingo and the language with you, as it will make your life a lot easier for socialising, making friends in shops, asking questions, and I think it's something really important for anyone thinking of doing something like this. My third point, and something I wish I did a bit more last year, but I'm also definitely going to focus on this year, is take every opportunity that is given to me. I did this quite well last year with things like the Island Games. That was an amazing experience for me, and it was nice to race back home. But this also is not just in racing, but travel. Opportunity I had last year was to go to London for the SportsAid athlete welcoming event, which was really good. Again, another opportunity I'm really happy I did. But then the example where I wish I'd done a bit more was in April last year. I was planning on going back home to Guernsey, and on the way I ended up getting stuck in the other island of Jersey, and this wasn't planned, and at the time I saw it as a real negative, and all I was focused on was being, I want to go to Guernsey, I want to go to Guernsey. But really, looking back on it now, I wish I had appreciated that opportunity a bit more. I was able to ride my bike in Jersey and explore the island a bit, and just socialise a bit more, which was nice to do. I wish I'd just done a bit more with it and not seen it as a negative at the time, and actually a positive. Yes, I wasn't expecting it to happen, but it happened, and I should have used it a bit better and seen the good. Point number 4, like I said earlier, is about my free time. when I'm not riding my bike over here, I have a lot of free time that can easily be wasted. And my fourth point is utilising this free time and making the most of it. I've really tried working on things like the YouTube channel, editing stuff, graphic design, things just like reading books. And it's not just sitting around and watching Netflix all day, because as good as that is, what is it bringing me? I feel like I need more plans in life if the cycling never works out, which I feel like by creating opportunities and utilising this free time to learn new things and skills is a perfect way to use it, so that I've got these backup plans for the future if stuff doesn't work out. And also think it's important to pick things that you want to enjoy, because you're not going to be persistent with stuff if you're not enjoying it. Whereas the YouTube channel, when I'm in that grind and I'm uploading videos, I've really enjoyed it, and I hope to continue this, and also in my free time this year learn new things and continue growing my skills off the bike. Point number 5, this is again both for something on and off the bike living over here, is expecting and accepting knockbacks. I realised last year, this is something I wasn't really expecting, was it was so hard when I had a difficult race or a bad race or a bad day to talk to anyone in that sort of way. I know I have my family on a touch of a button over a phone, but living on my own over here, actually just talking to someone through it and explaining things is something I really struggled with. It was difficult, whereas back home, if I have a problem, I can talk to a mate or a family member like that, no problem, in person, and I can talk through it. Where over here, it's a bit more of a struggle. This is something I hope to change this year. Well, I hope to improve on by being more open and talking to my family when I've had a bad day or a bad race. But it's definitely something for people to expect if they're ever going to come out to a different country and not be by their family, is to, it's the hard times are even harder when you're living on your own, because there's no one there to comfort and support you. So just be prepared for that. My 6th point is really similar to the last point, is keeping focus and aiming towards goals. I think something that I've changed this year, which I didn't really do last year very well, was setting myself goals, which then helps my last point of the difficult points. If I've got something to aim for and achieve for, I've got light at the end of the tunnel and an objective to work towards. And I think this is very important in terms, this is more of my racing side of things. By having that event coming up, I know I have to put the work in and the time in to hopefully be at my best level for that race. So this is something I'm looking at aiming on to do more this year. Is I've selected specific races throughout the season that I'm going to focus on and have my main goals and targets, which will hopefully get me better results. Point number 7, which again can link to the last point of focusing, I think, is learning to switch off. Again, this is something I've learned from last year. I didn't do it very well, and I hope to do more this year, is learning after aiming for an objective or having a long period of racing to switch off. I'm very lucky that home for me is only a 2-hour boat away. I know lots of other riders racing in Europe or people living away from home. This is a lot longer and it's a lot more difficult. So when I did take these trips home last year, I did go home, but I didn't switch off completely. I always had racing and riding my bike and training in the back of my mind. And I think this year, something I want to do is when I do go home is completely switch off. Don't even think about the bike. Just for a couple days at a time, just to really refresh the brain Enjoy being around the family again, because obviously I don't have that all the time when I am over here in France. And I think this will be very crucial in order to be fresh and motivated to get going, to then achieve the next goals that I've got coming up, by being completely refreshed. And my last point, point 8, is appreciating every day I've got here. I think this is something that obviously I'm very lucky to be in the opportunity that I am, to be living on my own, living in France, doing what I've always dreamed of riding and racing my bike. Something that really opened my eyes to this more was having all of last year and then being able to do it again this year. Speaking to a lot of my mates over the winter back home in Guernsey, it was very interesting about how much they are enjoying their lives and how happy they are since leaving school and being in office jobs, and it really made me grateful for what I've got, and trying to achieve this dream that I have. I've got nothing to complain about in what I do. I've got it very easy, and I cannot be more grateful. And even just the small things every day, of getting up and riding my bike, is all I have to think about, and I'm very grateful for that. So there you guys go. There are my personal 8 points on what I think you need to live on a foreign country on your own as an athlete. Let me guys know what you think of them, and if you agree with me. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you haven't already, and also subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.